July 22, 2009. My name is Edith Fuentes, and I will be conducting the hearing as hearing officer. We have one case today, and relevant exhibits are posted on the panel located directly behind me. Let me just quickly go through our hearing procedure. Under the provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30 of the Glendale Municipal Code, a variance shall be granted if four required findings are present. 1. That the strict application of the ordinance would result in practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship inconsistent with the general purposes and intent of the ordinance. 2. That there are exceptional circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved or to the intended use or development of the property that do not apply generally to other property in the same zone or neighborhood. 3. That the granting of the variance will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property or improvements in such zone or neighborhood in which the property is located. And 4. That the granting of the variance will not be contrary to the objectives of the ordinance. If the evidence presented in the application and at the hearing meets the criteria just described, then the zoning administrator can either approve or impose conditions for approval on the case in question. If the findings of fact are not evident, then the request will be denied. Notification of this hearing was accomplished by the use of public notices, which were mailed to property owners located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question, and placed in the local newspaper. The hearing will proceed as follows. I will read a description of the application or the request, and then read reports received from other city departments and other letters or communications from interested parties. The case planner will make a brief presentation and overview of the case and make a recommendation. The applicant will then be asked to come forward to speak, stating both name and address, and to present the case within a 15-minute time limit. Others in support of or in opposition to the application and any interested parties will be asked to come forward to speak. Again, clearly stating both name and address within a 3-minute time limit. Lastly, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make closing comments if desired in response to testimonies given by preceding speakers within a 5-minute time limit. The hearing will be closed and the case taken under submission. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses and have provided their name and mailing address. I would like to emphasize that the date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal may obtain forms and brochures on the procedures from our Building and Safety Section, Permit Services Center, located on the same floor of this building. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of these speaker forms, which have been provided by the front door, and submit it to our planning assistant. I would like to also inform everyone that the official proceedings of the zoning administrator's hearing are recorded on tape as part of public record. This is case number variance 2009-018. Location is 3502 Montrose Avenue. Applicant is Janelle Williams. Property owner is Jeffrey Stevens, and the case planner is Gabriel Riza. This is an application for a variance to add 618 square feet to an existing single-family residence and maintain a one-car garage where a two-car garage is required. Property is located at 3502 Montrose Avenue in the R1 Low-Density Residential Zone, Floor Area Ratio District 2, described as portion of Lot 10, Block J, Kusena Cañada Tract. And let me just quickly go through some of the comments. From our Water and Power Electric Engineering, since I think there is an existing utility pole at the rear of the property, the developer must maintain a 5-foot notch of undisturbed soil around the utility poles, and the existing electric utility easement at the rear of the property line shall also be maintained. By Glendale Water and Power. Any new structure must maintain the horizontal and vertical clearances from all overhead power lines. From engineering, method of discharge of all on-site drainage shall be approved by the city engineer, and the project shall comply with all current NPDES regulations. Separate permits are required for all work within the public right-of-way, and the applicant shall bear all necessary fees and take out necessary permits for construction and inspection. Okay, other than that, I have no other communications. Mr. Case Planner.
Okay. Good morning, Ms. Fuentes.
Good morning.
Ms. Fuentes, this is the variance request description. The project, as proposed, will require approval of only one variance. The applicant is proposing to add 618 square feet while maintaining a 12 by 19 one-car garage when a 20 by 20 two-car garage is required. The project site is an irregular-shaped lot. The channel wash located next to the property gives the impression that the project site is large, when the lot has a width of only 44 feet as indicated on the site plan. If the applicant expanded the existing garage to provide the required 20 by 20 garage, the overall site constraints would have triggered an additional variance regarding a minimum 25-foot front setback. If the applicant chooses to widen the garage, it would cause substantial remodeling and block access into the existing residence. Staff believes that the existing garage will continue to provide adequate parking consistent with the intent of the zoning code. The proposed 618 square feet addition will simply enlarge the kitchen, master bedroom, and bathroom. No additional bedrooms will be added as a result of this project, and all other zoning code requirements are being met, actually being fulfilled. As far as staff recommendation goes, staff believes that all of the findings can be made in a positive manner due to the project's small scale, lack of any likely impacts, anticipated design improvements, and channel wash conditions. Staff recommends approval of the variance with only one condition: the condition that the decorative paving which crosses the property line be removed.
Thank you very much. And let me see. I have no questions, so let's go through the applicant. Thank you, Kate. Janelle Williams.
Good morning, Ms. Fuentes.
Good morning.
My name is Janelle Williams, Williams Land Use Services. My office is at 2418 Honolulu Avenue in Montrose. This is an application for one variance. The property owners are here, Jeff and Dolores Stevens, and interesting to note that Jeff has lived in that house since he was in the second grade. Second fascinating fact about Jeff is that today is his birthday.
Happy birthday, Jeff. Okay. Are we all going to sing after?
I think we should. The house was built in 1951.
So he was born in 49.
Existing 1,265 square feet, and we are asking to add 618 square feet without adding a two-car garage. I'll just go into the findings. Oh, and the comments that you mentioned from Water and Power regarding the utility easement. There is no part of this project that would encroach into the easement, which is all the way to the back of the property. And as far as Public Works engineering comments, we will comply with all NPDES regulations, and discharge method of discharge will be approved by Public Works engineering, and we will be doing no work at all in the public right-of-way. Okay. We'll just start with the first finding. How will the strict application of the provisions of the ordinance result in practical difficulties or unnecessary hardships inconsistent with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance? We are not proposing to change the use of the property, only an exception to one development standard, and that is the provision of a two-car garage where a one-car garage already exists. The subject property is 6,740 square feet, exclusive of the 30-foot wide private street that serves the neighborhood enclave. Situated on Montrose Avenue, which is oddly enough accessed off of Honolulu Avenue.
So just keep going.
Just keep going. Okay. To Frederick Street, and then across a 50-foot wide flood control easement channel. This lot is very unique. Certain features of the property make complying with the zoning standard difficult and would create a significant hardship, which the variance process is intended to alleviate if the strict application of the provisions of the ordinance were applied in this case. The existing home was built in 1951, and certain upgrades are needed at this time to modernize the house for the property owners and to make their home more comfortable. Currently, the home is 1,265 square feet with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms with an attached one-car garage. The addition of 618 square feet to the rear of the house will allow the property owners to have an upgraded master bedroom, a significantly upgraded kitchen, dining room, and living room, and to improve mobility throughout the home. The second finding, what exceptional circumstances or conditions apply to the property involved or to the intended use or development of the property that do not apply generally to other property in the same zone or neighborhood. This property is uniquely situated on Montrose Avenue, which is a private street accessed from Frederick Street, which is a very small lane north of Honolulu Avenue and not even classified in the circulation element of the general plan. The property abuts the Dunsmore Canyon flood control channel. The lot is constrained with respect to locating a garage for vehicles. The existing garage is at the front of the house. There's not enough room on the side of the house for the placement of a driveway to access the rear of the house where a garage might be placed. The existing one-car garage and driveway have been adequate for this single-family house and would continue to be adequate with the modest addition to the rear of the structure and the modernization and reorientation of existing living spaces inside the house. Decorative paving does extend beyond the property line, which has the visual effect of a larger side yard setback, but actually it serves as a buffer zone between the Dunsmore Canyon flood control channel and the Stevens property. Third finding. Why will the granting of the variance not be detrimental to the public welfare? The proposed use will not create a nuisance, nor be detrimental to the health, safety, general welfare, or to the environment. The project will not change the single-family residential land use and will remain consistent with the single-family residential general plan designation. The project is consistent with the R1 single-family residential zoning, given that residential use of the property will remain consistent with the neighborhood and the requirements for parking are satisfied in their intent. The total amount of parking available along the front of the property satisfies the parking demand generated by the occupancy of the house and exceeds the amount of parking that will actually ever be needed for use. The number of parking spaces available to the use will be sufficient for the continued safe, convenient, and efficient operation of the modest-sized house, in that the location of available parking spaces will continue to provide safe and efficient ingress and egress. There is open space, landscape and hardscape in the front of the property and on the private street. Some of that paved open space in the front also provides room for parking cars. There currently exists the ability to park up to 4 cars on the property, which does not include parking in the existing one-car garage or parking on any portion of the 30-foot wide private street, which is also on the subject property, and could accommodate additional vehicles if needed. Fourth finding, why will the granting of the variance be in keeping with the objectives of the ordinance? The intent of the regulation to provide adequate off-street parking will be preserved with the existing driveway and garage, in that the modest improvement to the home will not result in the loss of any of the parking area. The code envisions allowing upgrades to single-family homes in order to keep them consistent with current residential standards and to ensure continuity and stability of owner-occupied housing in Glendale. This modest addition will enable the homeowners to enjoy an upgraded environment that does not generate the need for additional off-street parking. The modest addition, while substantially improving the living environment for the family, will not trigger any increased parking demand. There will be no bedrooms or bathrooms added, merely upgrading and reorganizing existing interior spaces, and only to the rear of the house. The front facade and entry to the home will not change.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Any questions?
I have a couple or so. Number one, the recommended condition by the case planner regarding decorative paving, and I'm also going to extend that into the driveway, because whether we calculated it or not, I would say more than or close to 40% of your front yard is paved. So we
have not calculated.
look into that, but I want to find out if you have any objections to that.
Yes, we would request that condition not be imposed at this time, because the property is 44 feet wide. That paved area acts as a buffer between the Dunsmore Canyon flood control channel and the Stevens property. And as such, there's vegetation overgrowth from the wash that would not be beneficial to the Stevens property, causing debris, weeds, and unabated fire hazard. And the current situation is attractive, it's clean, it's safe, it's well-maintained, and we think it's a superior alternative to the flood control debris. We request that existing paved condition be allowed to remain, because its removal doesn't help anybody.
Actually runs here, right?
Yes, it does.
And I think the case planner is talking about all this paving here.
That's correct.
And I'm also talking about all this paving here.
Yeah.
Looking at this, I don't even know if they had a curb cut permit from Public Works, because this entire frontage looked like it got paved all the way to the street. I'm not sure. You're gonna have to show me proof that that was allowed and approved by Public Works to be paved as much. If you can show me that, then I'll keep it the way it is. If not, we're gonna have to change a little bit of it.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to the property owners and see what
Because
documentation
I don't
we can
have-
come up with for that.
I don't have anything on file to show that that whole paved area was allowed or permitted
Yes.
by Public Works.
Well, my point is, whether it is or not, is I think that its removal would benefit nobody. You know, and I
Well,
think that
I,
removing it would actually cause a detriment.
I don't think you want to come back here asking me for less landscaping within the front yard, right? So we might as well make it work or make it happen.
Okay.
And that's all I'm saying is, if you can show me that entire paved area within the front was properly permitted and approved by Public Works, then I have no problems with that. And then I will look into the condition that the
Okay.
case planner has.
All right. Very
But
good.
we'll make it work, no matter what. So, and I fully agree with the case planner's recommendation. However,
But note
we
that
need
that
to
whole-
make some adjustments.
The
That's
30-foot in the front, that paved area is the street. It happens to be on
I
their
know.
property.
Like I said, I don't want to go into those details, but we require curb cuts, driveway approach, aprons, permit from Public Works.
Mm-hmm.
If you can show me that, I have no problems. And
Curb cuts. There are no curb cuts. It's a private street with no curb cuts anywhere along the street.
the burden of proof is on your side to give me all the documentations right now. I don't have all the documents with me. All you need is submit them, give them to me.
Okay.
I will wait
Very good.
until you get all those information, and then we'll look into the recommendation of the case plan.
We'll provide the records.
Okay.
All right.
So, and like I said, I agree with his recommendations. I just don't have all the documentations because I have to make sure I find all the 4 findings before I could release the decision on the
Understood.
case. And is there anybody else here who would like to speak in support or in opposition to this application? Closing comments? Ms. Williams, do you have anything else?
Only that the garage and driveway should remain where they are. It doesn't adversely affect the neighborhood or the house or consume too much of the front yard, as a larger garage ultimately would. And we think the request is reasonable and justified in this case. The Stevens intend to live the rest of their lives in that home. And this will allow them to have an upgraded living environment that would be comfortable for them.
So he's lived there since 1951?
How long
How
have
old do you think I am?
1951?
you lived there?
Since second grade.
When was
I
that?
don't know, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
60.
Oh, the house was built in 1951.
The house was built in
Okay.
51.
Okay, and just keep in mind, you're the one asking for a variance,
Correct.
and the benefit is on your side, so you got to give me what I'm asking for so I can justify the findings for this variance.
Understood.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank
And with that, I'm going to go ahead, take this case under submission, and close the public hearing at 10 a.m. Thank you very much, Jay.